After barely surviving an exploding spaceship, getting knocked out, and waking up to a rotting fire of my life pod, my adventure began in this mysterious and alien planet. So naturally, my life pod needed immediate repairs, but I could not forget my biological clock that instead of hours showed my hydration and nutritional level. I checked for whatever supplies may have been pre-packed in my life pod, and soon after that, took a very first dive in this freakishly beautiful world. After my very first dive, I curiously and carefully started checking out my surroundings, and very soon I figured out that not everything is what it seems to be. So I quickly came to realize that back on Earth, we seriously take air for granted, because nearly suffocating, I got very motivated to see what I can make with whatever resources I managed to gather with my bare hands. I got myself a better O2 tank, a simple scanner, and started scanning everything that moves, and hopefully it doesn't want to eat me. So like a newborn, I started curiously poking and probing, touching things that I probably should not touch. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, that whole seaweed thing over there kinda spooked me, so I came back to my life pod and cooked myself something edible, hopefully at least, and went back to searching and scavenging for whatever resources I need to build a repair tool to actually fix my life pod. On my nightly expedition, I stumbled upon some debris from our main spaceship and eagerly scavenged the technology that will help me survive in this world full of big teeth and apparently scary grass. After scrounging enough resources to get myself a repair tool needed for my life pod, I quickly patched it up, and it immediately scanned the environment around me, which was awesome. But it made me question my game choice for this. I think going from scary grass to Leviathan-class predators is not going to be good for my health. Anyways, I just fixed up a radio and got a message, which made me quite ecstatic until I actually heard the message. You know, one of those days when you get a message and you get excited, but then you just realize it's a message to remind you to pay the bills, so it kind of felt like that.
Rescue operation will be dispatched to your location in 9 hours. Continue to monitor for emergency transmissions from other life pods.
Now, at this point, is this life pod really trying to keep me alive, or is it just enjoying itself while I slowly descend into madness? Well, I guess we will never know. My curiosity does sometimes get better of me. I got into the kelp forest to try and find new things to scan, or to see. Well, I definitely saw something that was not too happy to see me. Suddenly I found myself running, or, well, rather swimming away from the massive chompers. How something can be so peaceful and relaxing, and then instantly shift into a horror game, I do not know. And while swimming around these absolutely strange waters, thinking about my next move, I got a pop-up that seemed like a new message. Another survivor? Perhaps. Fueled with curiosity, I swam back to my radio as fast as I could. Upon eagerly pressing that red button to listen for a message, I heard a human voice.
This is LifePod 3, uploading our coordinates. We're plugging some holes in our emergency sea glide, so if we're late for the rendezvous, don't panic. Also, don't go home without us. Seriously. 3 out.
Been a while since I heard something else than terrifying roars and alien sounds. Is that survivor alive? I didn't want to swim there at nighttime. Safe to say, I do not trust these waters. So I spent some time reading about things that I've scanned and hopefully helping me to understand more about all these fascinating creatures and maybe learn more about the properties of local flora. After learning a little bit more about my surroundings, I figured out how to effectively purify more water than I was getting before from the bladderfish. So I prepared for the expedition. Well, at least as best as I could. Mustered up whatever courage I had, but the deeper I went and the darker it got, the faster that courage was seeped out of my heart like cold and salty ocean water seeps warmth from your skin. Eventually, I got the signal from which I got the message. Sadly, the hull was breached and the life pod was sunk, and zero familiar life was there. I got some technology to make my life easier, but I've got more questions than answers. And while checking around the surrounding area for any clues or whatever scraps of tech, I got this very concerning message from my PDA.
Caution. Continued degradation of the Aurora's drive core may result in a quantum detonation. Continuing to monitor.
Finding more and more lost technology seemed to massively increase the odds of my survival and would expand my effective exploration range, for which I had mixed feelings. I want to know more, but at the same time I don't, you know? Anyways, I found enough scatter tech to learn how to make a sea glide, and there's no way I could have found what I did without this thing. But that's not yet important, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. But what is important that I reached a new biome, and it was absolutely breathtaking. And I found a new creature as well, which to be honest didn't look too dangerous because it seemed that I can swim better than it can. Going back to the biome, you see, what I love about this biome is that it is very spacious and that I can see very well. But being very spacious, I could not stop but to think that it could house creatures much bigger than I've ever seen.
Congratulations, survivor. You have exceeded your weekly exercise quotient by 500%. Data indicates that swimming was your favorite activity. Be sure to vary your routine for uniform muscle development.
Alright, now I know for sure that this PDA is just making fun of me and effectively trying to do the opposite of what it told me at the beginning. Coming back to my life pod after my explorations of a new biome, I completely missed that I got another message.
From the cafeteria. What the hell, guys? They didn't warn us this might happen. Our pod was almost crushed by the Seamoth Bay on the way down. Now we're hanging on the edge of a cave system, and this grim-looking snake thing's trying to eat through the hull. Come get us already.
But then again, after hearing that message, to be honest, I don't really want to meet that snake thing, but since the signal is quite deep, my plan was to get a little bit better equipment. Well, mainly better O2 tanks, so I can actually go and check that place out. And not long after that, I got enough stuff to make said upgrade. I would be lying if I would say that I didn't try to find more ways to procrastinate. But hey, the time has come to grow up here and go check that place out. It didn't come to me as a surprise for me that this spot was sinking as well. Nothing too interesting was there too. Though it made a spooky sound and that spooked me out of it, so that was that. What I did find though is a lot of new tech fragments. So it brought back 8-year-old me and I got invigorated with curiosity. I started to search for as much tech as I could and try to piece together something new. Found these big guys as well. They didn't have big teeth, nor they were very fast, so I wasn't scared of them too much. Although I didn't swim too close to them, because they did a lot of spooky sounds too. You see, without a sea glide, I could have never been able to get so much tech, and man, I was excited to see that I managed to learn how to make my very own sub. And boy, only if I knew what doors did this submersible open me. Only if. I came back to my life pod for the night, and whilst taking in the gorgeous view, I got a new message.
Plan pre-recorded distress call.
This is Officer Keenan, Life Pod 19. The captain is gone. I have assumed command. The last thing the captain did was give me coordinates for dry land. We regroup 1.5 kilometers southwest of the crash site. Stay together and good luck. This message will now repeat.
Rendezvous coordinates corrupted. Transmission origin coordinates downloaded.
This time, it was from LifePod 19, and they were talking about dry land? Now I needed to know more. Although coordinates were corrupted for that dry land, I got a location from where that signal was sent out. So maybe there will I be able to find more information about said dry land. I was curious and scared quite a bit because, as you can see, that location is quite deep. And now the puzzle started to piece together. Now I need that sea moth because I don't really want to go down there without any protection or just on my own. So I started working. But not long after, something disastrous happened.
reach a supercritical state. 30 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Now that was scary to say the least. It was only obvious that now I not only need the Seamoth, but radiation suit as well, and I had no time to waste. While I was restlessly working for things that I needed for my Seamoth, which was mainly a mobile vehicle bay and more materials, I got another message.
Aurora, this is Sunbeam again. We just picked up a massive debris field at your location. I didn't know how bad, how many of you. I didn't know. We're now en route to your location. We're gonna bring you home. Sunbeam out. What else can I say? The only time I parked a rig this big on a rock that small was in VR. And I blew it. It's a bad option, alright, but so are all the others.
They are planning to rescue me? I am not so sure. It's quite early into the game. That was exciting, but I didn't trust it. So I continued as planned. For all I know, I might die of radiation or will be forced to move.
Is it fast?
And alas, the Seamoth. I could not be happier. This little guy will help me to go on such adventures that are beyond my imagination. And hey, this game is all about tech, right? So next logical location where I can get the most tech is the Aurora. But that adventure, my friends, is going to be for the next episode. Subscribe so you won't miss it.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Till the next time, Aima out.